Om Shri Sadgurave Namaha. Jai Guru. Today I happened to go through an elixir discourse of Sant Sadguru Maharshi Mehi Paramhans Ji Maharaj in Bharati or Hindi language. And I liked this very much, so much so that I could not wait to translate it properly, or you could say formally, which takes say so many steps. You have to first translate it raw on a piece of paper, then edit it, and finally present it or share it with you. But all that takes a lot of time, so I decided to submit to Guru's grace and do a live or raw or impromptu translation of that discourse and share it with you. I hope you would like the discourse as much as I did. So here it goes. Dear fellow beings, Santmat teaches to attain total liberation, salvation or emancipation, as well as to live in this world happily. Devotion to God yields complete liberation from the bondage of transmigration. This devotion or bhakti consists in the lower forms of bhakti as well as higher forms of bhakti. The lower forms consist of mental chanting called Manas Jap and Manas Dhyan or visualizing, mentally visualizing by keeping our eyes closed. Try to visualize the form of our desired deity or Guru. Whereas the higher forms of devotion, they include meditation on the inner light and sounds. In the meditation on inner light, we don't have to imagine something or mentally construct something and then try to see that. Instead, we have to see with a particular skill which is taught by an accomplished Guru. Look in the middle of Ida and Pingala, that is in the Sushumna, which is also called as Agya Chakra or the 10th door or the third eye, etc., etc. Here by looking we mean that we have to still our gaze, make it stationary at the Sushumna. And if we are successful in doing that, then we get to see a refulgent, a radiant point. Lord Shri Krishna in Srimad Bhagavad Gita says that one should meditate on or reflect on the form of God who is all-knowing, who is the most ancient, or the first of all, who creates as well as regulates or controls this whole of creation, who is tinier than the tiniest, who supports or is the sustenance of all that exists, who is refulgent or bright like sunlight and is beyond all ignorance or darkness. Similarly, in Tejo Bindu Upanishad, we find the instructions to meditate upon the radiant point form of that which is the soul of the whole world, whole creation. And this type of meditation is said to be the highest form of meditation. In the meditation on the inner light or yoga of inner light, as we go on meditating and delving deeper, diving deeper and deeper, the light or the light forms that are seen, they go on progressively increasing in luminosity, in brightness, and luminance. So much so that it is impossible to describe those forms completely or as they are. As we get to see the inner light, we also hear sounds within. The sound that is produced upon visualizing the inner divine radiance are subtle sounds, and the sounds that we get to hear in darkness, that is, while we have not been successful in concentrating our attention and get to see that radiance in the Sushumna, till then, while as we are concentrating, we are still in darkness, but we may still hear. As our concentration increases, we might hear certain sounds while we are yet in darkness. So the sounds that are heard in darkness, Maharshi Mehi Paramhans Ji Maharaj says that those are the grosser sounds, and the saints or the sants don't advise to meditate on the grosser sound forms, grosser sounds. However, if someone hears those gross sounds or sounds that are heard while we are still in darkness, meditating in darkness, then he says that as you meditate, and meditate, it is possible, it is just possible that your concentration may increase and you may catch hold of the subtler sounds, inner sounds. And this, he says, I have indicated about this, I have written about this in the fourth part of the book called Satsang Yoga in paragraph number 60. But if we follow the commandments of the sants as well as Upanishads, etc., then we must practice yoga of inner sound after having practiced the yoga of inner light. It is advisable. Yoga of inner light is done in three ways, which are known as Amadrashti, Pratipada Drashti, and Purnima Drashti. Ama means the dark night when moon is not at all visible. In the dark fortnight, the last day, which is called as Amavasya, so we have complete darkness, we can't see the moon at all. So here Amadrishti means that trying to meditate by keeping our eyes completely closed, gently but completely closed. That is known as Amadrashti. Whereas Pratipada Drishti consists in seeing with partially opened eyes. Okay, half open, half closed. Whereas Purnima, that is full moon day. Purnima means full moon day. So Purnima Drishti means looking with our eyes, gazing with our eyes wide open. Amadrishti, or trying to meditate with our eyes closed, does not entail any, you can say, trouble or pain or problem. It's completely problem-free method. There is no risk to our eyesights, etc. Whereas the other forms, there have been reported problems with eyesight. Sometimes our eyeballs get distorted. Sometimes some people have complained of losing their vision. So therefore, sants, all the sants and sages, they have advised, they have instructed to practice with amadrashti, that is by keeping our eyes closed. There are some people who say that if you meditate with your eyes closed, the chances of falling asleep are very high. Maharshi Mehi says that I have not practiced meditation with eyes fully open, but I have practiced the Pratipada Drishti, that is, I have practiced meditation with eyes with eyes partially open. And it has been my experience that you fall asleep even while practicing with, your eyes partially open. He further says that sometimes we have our eyes completely open, but still we feel drowsy and our eyes do get closed. We are listening to some discourses and talks being given, and it might have been experience of almost all of us that sometime we fall asleep while listening to such lectures or talk, even if our eyes are open. So why that happens, he said, the main thing is that when you are looking, when you are seeing, then you must be alert. And your whole mind should be devoted at the process of seeing. Okay, we should have complete concentration while we are gazing at the target as taught by our Guru. And so long as we are aware, we are alert, then it is very less likely that we will fall asleep. Further, he says that my Guru, the name of Guru of Maharshi Mehi Paramhans Ji Maharaj was Baba Devi Sahab. So what he says that my Guru did not tell me to practice the yoga of inner sound without having practiced the yoga of inner light, that is meditation on inner light. Even Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that concentrate your attention in the void within. That is, as we close our eyes, we get to see an expanse of dark void. Okay, an expanse of darkness. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji says that concentrate in that sphere of void and listen to the melodies in the house of the Sushumna or the 10th door. In the void, there are some people who say, what would you get in the void? Only void you will get, that is, there is nothing or zero that you will get. A Pandit had remarked this to me also, but just think a little. In the empty space, what remains in the empty space does never go, does never vanish, is never destroyed. Whatever we see, that is, if a place is filled with things, then those are the coverings or the curtains or the sheaths. Okay. What he says that suppose you have packed, heaped lot of goods or objects or articles in your house. Okay. Then you will not get to see the void. So that these things that you have amassed inside the house, heaped inside the house, they cover the void which is still there. But that obstruction is caused because of the presence of the things which are filling that void, but that void never goes anywhere. Okay, the void never goes anywhere. You remove all the objects from the house, and what is left, what remains, is the void, which was when all the things were present, and which will remain intact even when all things are removed. That is, when everything else is emptied, then void still remains. That is, that void, you could say, it could be compared to something which is eternal. And therefore, void or zero is not an insignificant or meaningless thing. What he says again, that in the same way, consider this world, consider this universe, which is full of elements that constitute this world. If you remove all these elements, then what will remain, that what will remain is that which is eternal, which can never be removed, which can never be destroyed, which is ever present, which is immortal, which was, which is, and which will remain. What you have to do is that as you are gazing, as you are trying to visualize within, then you have to empty yourself of all the thoughts. Remove, banish all the thoughts and practice with a mind free of all kinds of waves of thoughts. And then you will find that you get to see which you had not imagined ever in your wildest of imaginations, but which is very much there, which always remains there. Now you will see, get to see that. And what is that? That is the refulgent or radiant point. And once you are able to gaze to see that point, and you enter from the gross realm into the astral realm, then Maharshi Mehi says that you enter into the world of the realm of what is known as, what has been described by sages as the realm of thousand petaled lotus. That is, there are so many glittering lights, sparkling lights present over there, that it could be compared to a lotus which is having about 1,000 petals. So you get to say reach in that realm of thousand petal lotus. And but still here also we have not come to that void. We have not still empty, everything has not been removed. Still there are things, there is light, there is sound. So what he says, that even here that emptiness or voidness has not been obtained, where only God remains. So therefore you have to move further, you have to proceed ahead and follow up the yoga of inner light with meditation on the inner sound. And pulled by the attraction of those sounds, you finally get to that quintessential sound which will pull yourself, draw your attention, attract your attention to from where it has been emerging, that is, to its source, to its fountainhead. And at the source of that quintessential primordial sound is soundlessness, complete tranquility, complete silence, because as Maharshi Mehi says, that it is from the soundlessness, it is from the silence that sound gets produced. Just as we are silent, we are keeping mum, and then we produce sound. So similarly, From the soundlessness, sound is produced. God is unmovable, unmoving, motionless, vibrationless, soundless. And because of this motionlessness and because of this eternality, he is soundless. This world cannot exist in absence of the vibration or sound. So the world comes into, what he means to say is that the world comes into being because of the sound or vibration, which are intertwined, always connected, ever connected. Wherever there is sound, there is vibration, and without vibration, there cannot be any sound, and without any sound, there cannot be anything that can be produced. And that is why the Bible mentions, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the God, and the Word was God. So here he says that therefore in the beginning, at the outset, we have the vibration, the primordial vibration, and that vibration, that quintessential vibration is found out, is perceived, is caught hold of by practicing nada anusandhan, or the yoga of inner sound. And even that primordial sound finally dissolves or loses its existence in the eternal God, who is omnipresent, who has always been there, who is without birth or death, who is ever present, who is tinier than the tiniest and larger than the largest. That the current of that sound is there, continuously there, from God to the refulgent point, to this world we live in. And that is what sages have called makar tar, that is the silk fiber of the spider. We have seen spider, when it weaves its cobweb, then it produces fiber, silk fiber from within itself. And by using that, with the help of that, say fiber, it goes on moving from one end to the other. Similarly, by catching hold of that fiber, that current, that thread, which we get hold of, okay, or which starts from this gross world, and the process of obtaining which starts as we first are able, or as we succeed in collecting our attention at the sushumna, or the 10th door. So that wire, that thread of the primordial sound is there everywhere, and it is by catching hold of that and moving in the reverse direction, in the direction of the, you can say, counter stream, because that sound has been continuously flowing, it is still flowing from God to this world. And if we want to reach God, then we have to swim in the counter stream direction, against the stream direction. And that is what the sages have described as the fiber or the wire of the spider. And as Sant Tulsi Sahab says, that the doors where we get that wire, they are closed, and that door is very tiny, very minuscule, very fine, and that door lies at the Sushumna, or the Agya Chakra, where this individual soul starts to set on the path where it can catch hold of that wire, that thread, that current of consciousness, pure consciousness. Sages have said, and Maharshi Mehi says, that we have full conviction, complete faith in their saying. We first get to see the illusory form of God, and by progressing as taught by the Guru, we move ahead we move further and further, we dive deeper and deeper, and finally we get to see that form of God which is beyond all kinds of illusion, which is beyond all forms of illusion, which is beyond all the veils or sheaths. That this is the method of meditation. Maharshi Mehi Paramhans Ji Maharaj. I personally liked this discourse very much, and therefore I was very eager to share it with you, and therefore I could not wait to formally translate, edit, and present it with you. So therefore, because this is a raw and live translation, so maybe there might have been some errors in this, for which I beg your pardon. And if you have liked this and say you wish to hear more of such discourses, then I'll be glad to receive your feedback and reactions in the comment section. Thank you very much. Jai Guru, Radha Swami, Sahib Bandagi, Vaheguru, Satyaram Sa, Namaste.